Welcome to the Dean's List, engaging conversations at the intersection of entrepreneurship, artistic expression, and holistic health. Experience wellness in full color, where fashion, beauty, and art blend with body, mind, and soul. Embark on a journey that dresses your aspirations in style, paints your life with beauty, and sculpts your well-being in every dimension. This is the Dean's List, where inspiration is always in session. Welcome to the Dean's List, where we journey through the kaleidoscope of wellness, imagination, and enterprise. I'm your host, Alison Dean, and today on the Dean's List, we're embarking on a voyage where entrepreneurship sails smoothly with holistic skincare, guided by Jenny McAteer, the siren of the skincare sea. Jenny transforms facials into rituals, marrying ancient wisdom with modern self-care and turning her passion into a flourishing business. Get ready to uncover the secrets behind glowing skin and the passion that lights up that path. Hello, Jenny.
Well, hello, Alison. So nice to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. And I'm so happy that we had a tuning right before we started. So it's all aligned, all the different rituals.
Absolutely.
It's perfect.
And I love being called the siren of the seas of facials. I'll take it.
You're definitely my siren of the sea, the mermaid that is Jenny. Okay, so with over 18 years of experience, it's no small number in the spa and wellness industry. I want to know what initially drew you to the field of holistic health and skincare.
Well, I think it's just been in my family. I'm the youngest of 8 women and was raised with very powerful, independent women who are really into their healing and self-care. And so I always had that reflection around me, and including my mom, who was always taking such good care of her skin. Like I remember being with my first pocket money, running to the body shop and wanting to buy like the eye gel and the moisturizer. I was just always so into self-care and the joy of it. It to me, it was like a ritual, something that I could enjoy doing for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would do like little mini facials for friends. So when I discovered, I can make a career out of this, awesome. So yeah, it's always been something I've been enjoy doing. So I feel really lucky to have a career that is always evolving, always growing. I'm always learning. And it's wonderful.
I love that. All right. So this is actually really cool because not everyone can say this. You hold an advanced level certification in sculptural facelifting technique.
Yay.
And you're trained in not only facial reflexology, but also manual lymphatic drainage massage. So curious, how do these techniques complement each other? How do they all, I guess, integrate into things?
Yeah, I have many different modalities and tools to work with. Mainly my hands are my favorite tools to use. And so, I trained with Yakov Gershkovich back in 2017. He is a master facialist. He became very well known after Meghan Markle kind of was marrying Prince Harry, and they interviewed her, a facialist, and talked about the buccal massage. He became very famous. That is what he teaches. So it's like an inner mouth, deeper tissue face massage. And with that, you're really helping to release any jaw tension, and by removing jaw tension, it really helps to sculpt the sides of the face and the jawline. And also we're working all the facial muscles. So that is great tension reliever and way of, getting better alignment in the face. And then combining that with lymphatic drainage. If you're holding tension in your jaw, chances are your neck is tight too. So what can happen is we're not getting good circulation to and from the face. Our lymphatic system becomes stagnant. So we're not getting the movement for optimal flow. So by combining the sculptural facelifting with manual lymphatic drainage, you're getting the benefits of, less tension in the face and also better movement and flow. So they really combine well together. And each each person has an individual need. So when someone comes to me, perhaps they're holding more tension in their jaw, in their forehead. It's all going to depend. So every facial is different and every moment is different.
So, ethical sourcing and whole plant-based products. I mean, I pretty much discovered Laurel through you. They're
Yeah.
cornerstones of your philosophy. So, can you share how this belief shapes, your treatments and also other products that you choose?
Yeah. I think one of the main goals for when I started You Are Beautiful Skin Therapy was to be as sustainable as possible.
Hmm.
Um, Especially with the treatments I do, they are so massage focused. So we don't need 20 products. I can do a facial with just 2 products and beautiful hydrosol and a face oil. Of course, I want to add in a nice cleansing or some honey enzymatic masking as well. There's always extras that we can add, but really I'm more into less is more
Yeah.
and getting your skin to function correctly but for itself, not needing to keep adding more to it.
Hmm.
um, and then so being able to work more in alignment with nature with products that are whole plant coming very clean, and work with Laurel in particular. They work directly with the farms to source all the ingredients, so everything, it's more local. There's a lot of integrity behind it.
Yeah.
And then the packaging for me, it was so defeating a lot of times working in the skincare industry and just throwing away plastic bottles and jars constantly. And it's not good for my soul to do that. So
Amen.
I really wanted to work with companies that were really on that environmental path and
Hmm.
wanting to use, glass bottles. Even the packaging with Laurel, when I get my shipments, it's all paper. They really take all that into consideration.
Yeah.
And that is something that's really important for me to be able to provide that for myself and for my clients as well.
Like for any mermaid, we have to eliminate plastic. So this makes sense.
Absolutely.
There's
Yes,
far
we
too
do not
much.
want it in
Yeah.
our oceans. Yes.
It's like,
Yeah,
it's gross.
and it just feels so much better. And working with whole plant, you feel the vibrancy of the ingredients, and it just
Yeah.
feels more alive. There's more energy to it. I get to mix all the flowers and roots and all these beautiful treatment essences for the treatment. So it's really fun to
Yeah.
work on that level. Yeah, I get a lot
You're
of
like,
joy out of it.
you're like a whole plant wizard when you're
Yes,
doing a facial.
alchemy.
Yeah, yeah, right. Okay, so we're living in an era where injectable fillers and other cosmetic surgeries have certainly become increasingly mainstream. And there's maybe a growing debate around just long-term impacts of some of these procedures and, benefits versus, the negatives, perhaps. From your perspective, how do holistic practices like the ones you specialize in offer perhaps an alternative or
Mhm.
a complement to some of these other cosmetic
Yeah.
approaches?
Yeah, I want everyone to feel welcome at my in my treatment room. So a lot of my treatments, of course, they're more of we're creating a lot of movement. So if you've perhaps gone and had your Botox appointment, I wouldn't recommend you come in that same week. It's like come in before. I always tell my clients that do. I have some clients that do want to continue with some Botox or filler. I say, well, book me in first and get your skin all vibrant and ready, and maybe
Hmm.
you'll need less Botox. And then I have a lot of clients that decide that they don't need it after a while because they're getting the results through the facial work I do.
Hmm.
But saying that it's whatever we want to do. I think it's an empowering decision to be able
Yeah.
to do what feels right and good for you. I do have one treatment that works really well for my clients that do wish to continue on that. Injectables is the Chi facial. So
Yeah.
Chi Beauty, we're working with little gold magnets which are placed on the face. Gold in itself is a very healing, luxurious modality. And then the magnets creating, we're working with the static magnetic energy of our bodies. So we're
Yep.
getting like much better movement, better kind of sculpting, depending on how. I love to work it around the cheeks for that lift, or in the eyes here to build hydration and
Yep.
to, and to just kind of relax those muscles. So for someone who perhaps is had filler, it's going to prolong the effects of their filler because they've got better movement. There's better, your natural hyaluronic acid is more available. There's more fresh collagen and elastin up at the surface. So it's a great treatment for those clients.
And you look like a princess when you do it. So
Absolutely. Or an
if you want to
Egyptian
take,
goddess.
yeah, you can take an excellent selfie and post it to Instagram, because
Absolutely.
which you can go to Jenny's Instagram and see many lovely, lovely people that have all
Mhm.
these just elaborate designs. And you're like, wow, that's a facial. And yes,
Yeah,
in fact, it
it
is.
it is, and as pretty as it looks, that's what drew me in. I saw the photo, I was like, "Oh, I wanna know more about this." But actually, when you learn about the philosophy and what it's actually doing to
Mhm.
support your skin and the health of your whole body, because we're also working the meridian point systems as well. So you're getting that deeply relaxing feeling for the nervous system. It's fantastic.
And I think you were the first person in LA to do that facial, right?
Yeah, yes, and it's definitely growing. I've had a lot of estheticians visit me here at my treatment room to try it out, and have continued on and brought it into introduced it to their clients, which I love. I love to see it growing. The more holistic, non-invasive treatments available, the better.
Here, here. Okay, so
Yeah.
speaking of other non-invasive treatments, so certified in face yoga. So how do you
Mhm.
incorporate face yoga into your holistic skincare approach?
Yeah, well, during COVID is when I kind of started learning about more about face yoga, and for selfish reasons, I wanted to learn it for myself. And then, actually, my niece, who has a dance studio in San Francisco, she said, "Well, why don't you teach it virtually for my students?" So I started teaching it, and people were just like loving. I have people that reach out and tell me they're still practicing it after from 3 years ago when I taught was teaching for Ray Studios. I'm actually bringing the face yoga class back again for selfish reasons, because I realized I was keeping a better self care face yoga practice when I was teaching, because I had to keep
Yeah.
my results going and keep learning and growing with it. So yeah, face yoga will be back starting April 6th. 2 Saturdays every month. It's going to be a virtual class through Ray Studios. I can share that information
Yeah.
with you to share with
Yeah.
anyone who'd like to join. Yeah.
I like it when teaching or you decide to teach for your own accountability. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, for
great.
sure.
That's great.
And we go to the gym or we go work out for our body. A lot of times we forget, our face has facial muscles too. And if we exercise them, they're going to help keep the vibrancy in the face. And also the fact that some of our facial muscles attached to our skin, if those muscles are more toned, the skin is more lifted and less chance of it, feeling heavy or drooping. So
Makes perfect sense
we
to
got
me.
to work out
Yes.
our face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like with other things. Okay, so you've sought out leading experts as teachers and mentors. You've named a few, and you continue to expand your knowledge in natural holistic skincare. Can you share a pivotal piece of advice or insight that you've gained from one of your mentors?
Well, I think when I first took my training with Yakov, I can remember I had just my son was 4 at the time, and I was like, I'd been a stay at home mom for a few years. After being in the holistic, spa and wellness industry for many years, I took time off to raise my son, and so I was just getting back, on track and thinking, oh, maybe I can see what's out there, and amazingly found this amazing teacher. And the most profound thing for me from that time were the other women that I met, the other who are still, some of them, one, Samantha is my lifelong friend now, and just having their encouragement that I could do this. And so, because sometimes we can doubt ourselves, or we
Oh
think,
yeah.
oh, we don't know it all yet. So why would I get out there and share this? But when I had these amazing women behind me saying, you can do this, you can share this, it really gave me the courage to. And without that encouragement, maybe I wouldn't have decided to open up my business at that time. And once I decided to do it, literally like a week later, the phone started ringing, and people were like, "Oh, I heard that you offer buccal massage." And again, some of these are my clients. Ever they still come for treatments and are seeing the benefits of what I've been able to help them and share with them. So, yeah, I just think it's really empowering when we can support one another,
Mm-hmm.
and what a difference that can make in our lives.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
I say here, here. There's a lot to be
Yay.
said. You never know when just the smallest statement or the
Mhm.
simplest of statements can have such an expansive effect on someone, and the decisions that they may be, trying to make or considering. So,
Yeah.
okay, so embracing holistic health and ethical skincare involves navigating a landscape filled with both challenges and opportunities. Can you
Mhm.
share a moment where taking a risk significantly impacted your practice, and it could be impacted it for the better or maybe
Mhm.
not, but still there was learnings. So either way.
Um, well, I think probably bringing on when I decided to bring the chi, I'm just thinking of I'm a small business. So
Mhm.
any investment, and at the time I thought, can I afford this? I want to
Yeah.
do this training, but is this really, it was just after a year of being shut down and, getting back on my feet, and getting my business up and running. And I thought, but, I feel like my clients need this. So I'm going to take the leap. I'm going to invest in this. So
Mhm.
sometimes we have to look at the bigger picture. And in that moment, it might have been a big investment, but it has paid off tenfold and it continues to, and as you said, I was one of the first here in LA 2 years ago, but now it is growing and growing because more people are wanting more holistic modalities. So I guess just trusting,
Mhm.
trusting in in that gut instinct if something is right
Yes.
is really important.
I think
So
that's so
yeah,
huge.
sometimes we have to take those little risks
Mm.
and trust that it's meant to be.
Yeah, and it was. So that's good.
Yes.
Yeah, trust your gut. And
Mhm.
in this case, trusting your gut has paid off. I mean, you're still
Yeah.
the OG of Chi, so at least in LA, right? So
Yay.
no matter who else is doing it, I still will always think of you. So there's that.
Thank you.
Um, okay, so balancing the demands of running a business with personal wellness goals. I mean, you've
Mhm.
already said, like you need to teach face yoga in order to maintain your face yoga.
Yeah.
That can be very challenging, running a business and your own wellness. These are challenging things in combination. So, how do you maintain this balance in your own life?
Mhm.
What are Jenny's non-negotiables related to wellness?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a challenge, being a small business owner. You think in a way I thought, okay, I want to start my business so I'll have more time for myself and my family. But then being a small bit, you wear many hats. So I've had to really remind myself why I decided to do this. And one of the big reasons was to still be able to be there for my family and for my son. I had him at 40. So, just raising him is the biggest joy for me. So yeah, just I always have to put him first as far as, his priorities if anything comes up. So that's a non-negotiable for me. Like family is number one. But luckily my family's very supportive of me growing my business and it's all worked out really well. And my son is already giving me good facials. He's got the touch down. So maybe one day he'll carry the torch.
I
It's
love
so
it. It's all
cute.
in the
He loves
family.
it.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cute. What does
Yeah.
wellness mean to you?
Wellness means for me, it just means feeling good in my body,
Mhm.
and it's more from within, just that feeling of just feeling grounded. Because a lot of times, if I know myself, if my nervous system is off balance, it's like I feel like I'm not really fully earthed, I'm a bit floating off away. And for me, it's really important to always know that I'm grounded within myself.
Mhm.
And even in the morning, if I don't have a good 30 minutes even just to have my tea, and I've started using a rebounder and it's a game changer. I love it. Like it's
Yeah.
the best cardio for me. I love it. So
Yep.
having that time when I'm just feeling good within in my skin.
So you just said rebounding and tea. So
Yeah.
are those a couple of your non-negotiables, where it's like
Yes.
you need to do those? And do you have any others? Anything else that's a part of like Jenny's wellness regime to make you
Yeah.
feel grounded?
Going so I've worked in spas so for many years. So honestly, going to like the fancy spas is not always my idea of relaxation because I've worked in them and I'm always thinking of what's going on behind the scenes. But
Yeah.
I love going to the Korean spa. That is my I have to go at least once every 2 months and have that body scrub where they scrub every part of you and you just it is a non-negotiable for me. That is my me time.
I love that.
I
It's good.
love it. I am
Good.
big fan of Korean spa culture and their food, and I am very appreciative to have that so easily found here in Los Angeles. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
non-negotiable.
I'm like, yes, you do live in the right city for the
Yeah,
Korean spa.
yeah,
So
yeah, and I think it's getting that water element, spending time in the water, because coming I lived on Kauai and I'd be in the ocean every day. Don't jump in the ocean here in California as much, maybe because it's colder. So I just love a day where I'm being immersed in water and yeah,
yes,
and nature is getting out to hike. That's another top beauty tip, get out in nature. You will
fresh
always
air.
feel better. Exactly.
Yes, we all need the fresh air.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so curious because I mean, you kind of stay at the forefront and on the pulse of like what's going on with skincare, ethical, effective. So, are there trends or any innovations that are exciting you, or anything coming around the corner that you know about that's exciting you?
Yeah. So I think more and more people are wanting to get away from too many flash trends and more into what's actually working for them.
Hmm.
Um, for me, like an ingredient can be trendy, but how sustainable is that to our earth? Or how much does my skin need it? So I
Hmm.
love to educate my clients on what's going to be right for them. But saying that, there is one product I'm super excited about at the moment. It's from a brand called Adipo. Adipu.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a French word. So I came across them at I was at a summit recently with different speakers, and that was the standout product for me. And I've been testing it out, and I'm really excited. It's one product. It's basically you use it on areas of your face where you maybe perhaps need better volume.
Mm,
There's two active ingredients in it, one being black ginger. Black ginger is known to activate the fitness of your fat cells. And
wow.
I think that's going to be a big trend coming up is talking about our fat cells, because that is actually what maintains the integrity of our skin as far as keeping the volume. And also if we get depleted in our fat cells, we start to, look a little bit less volume basically. And but then we have areas where we might have too many lipids where the lymph is stagnant, so we want to get those fat cells fitter and more toned, the
Hmm.
jawline maybe underneath the chin. So this
Hmm.
product, you just apply it on those areas where you need to stimulate those fat cells. I've been trying it out for about 2 months now. I've definitely been noticing an improvement around my lip area. In particular, I'm 50, so this is an area where the horizontal lines start to show. So I have definitely noticed a good improvement there. So I'm excited to give it they say like 3 months to start seeing the volume. And then within 6 months, the more tightening and lifting of the face. So I can report back to you or send you some to try out. It's a really interesting way. I love anything that works to support our skin
Yeah.
rather than trying to exfoliate too much and suppress what's going on. Let's work with our muscles. Let's work with those fat cells and the lymphatic system and the circulatory system. Anything that gets things working optimally, I'm excited about.
I love that. What you just said made me think of, I don't remember if it was like the first time we had a treatment together, or at some juncture, but I certainly was doing a lot of, like chemical peels for a
Mm.
while. And
Hmm.
I always I mean, I reflect on this fondly, Jenny, because I think now my headspace around that stuff has shifted so much about just like the power of what your skin can do if you're really
Yeah.
supporting it in a different way. And
Hmm.
so I was so resistant to you when you were saying this to me, because I remember I was, seeing you, but then I was still, doing the
Yeah.
other stuff. I was like I was fighting it. But there is so much, I think, to be said for having the confidence and the belief that with the right products and the right activities,
Yeah.
you really don't need a lot of that stuff. You can
Yeah.
do so much with holistic
Right. Yeah.
things. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for that.
Well, I love that you're at that place with your thinking. I love it. That
Yeah.
makes me happy.
It takes time, right? As you get
Yeah.
older and wiser, we hope,
Yeah.
right? We hope. But
And I
yeah.
think it's important to know if you are shifting into a more holistic way of treating your skin, the
Yep.
skin has to go through changes.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, working with L'Oreal products, you've probably noticed L'Oreal products are very potent in their whole plant medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is stagnancy underneath the skin, it's going to help purge that out for you. And
Yeah.
you want to get that out, releasing it. But a purge is not always fun because you have to go through having maybe some breakouts or some, inflammation that just needs to be purged out. So it
Mm-hmm.
can be a positive thing sometimes.
Yes, we
And you
don't
just
always have
have
to
to,
look at it.
yeah, be patient and give it time, give it its season to go through that change.
You're right. Have
Yeah.
patience, have the belief, know that
Yes.
it won't always be the case, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And be loving and kind. A lot of there's so many, I feel, skin treatments that are just so aggressive and painful. I'm like, why are we doing this to our skin when we can be loving and so much more supportive in a different way and still get great results?
Yeah. I think it's interesting too, because I also think about there was a time when I was going in for, I don't remember what laser treatment it was, but it was something very, I mean, it was aggressive. And I think it really didn't do
Mm,
me any favors. I think I'm
yeah.
still working to repair some of the like hyperpigmentation. I think it really did create some.
Laser's very tricky. Yeah, and it's not for everyone, and yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's interesting.
But
I
that
mean,
can
good,
happen.
hey, lesson learned, but probably
Yeah,
wouldn't hurry back for another laser session
yeah,
anytime soon.
yeah,
I would opt for a buccal instead. Um,
absolutely.
okay, so besides financial bottom lines, what does success look like to you for your business?
That's always changing, and right now I feel like I'm ready to maybe grow more. It's been I opened my business in 2018, 2019 is when I really started to grow, and
Hmm.
it's always been so exciting, and now I feel like I'm ready to kind of maybe grow more where I could possibly bring in another esthetician to work along with me or be part of a collective where I'm more, being a solo esthetician can some days you just want to have more of a community. And
Right.
so I'd love to kind of grow my business more in that way.
Yeah.
I see that happening and teaching and supporting more for other estheticians or other, teaching more face yoga. I'm really excited to get back into doing that.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
So success for you is kind of more growth or more
Yeah.
expansion. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right
Yeah.
now, that's what
Well,
it feels like.
I can see that for you happening. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's sounds like it's a natural progression for sure.
Yeah.
You've offered so much advice, I feel like, throughout, the conversation so far, but are there any like key pieces of advice, or if someone were to leave listening to our conversation today, any key pieces of advice for someone that's looking to improve their overall skin health and well-being?
Mm.
Yeah.
I think there's so much information out there. It can be really confusing. And the beauty
Totally.
industry is a big, very profitable industry. So there's a lot being blasted at us constantly, which can get really confusing. And then
Yep.
you can end up investing in all the skincare and not really knowing how to use it or if it's really right for you. So I think if you are wanting to make any changes or get, commit to a good skincare routine or ritual, as I like to call it, because I really want it to be more of a mind, body, spirit experience. But to find someone that, speak to a professional, get someone who's trained in skincare. Estheticians, most estheticians I know, they really take their education seriously and they're very passionate about what they share. So finding someone that's in alignment with you, there's so many amazing professionals to seek out. And I'm always happy to share, information and advice for anyone. So yeah, I think go to your esthetician, talk to them because they really know what they're, they have the hands-on experience and they've taken the education with the products that they are sharing.
Yes. Or go see Jenny. Okay.
Yay.
So we're going to do a quick fire round. So changing pace a little bit. It's really answer the first thing that comes to mind. Also, some of these might be a little hard, but still just answer with your gut, first thing that comes to mind. And it's meant to be fun. So have no fear. Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Tea and coffee.
That's fine.
I love both.
Yeah, it's great. Favorite color?
Pink and blue. Oh, I just said two again.
It's fine. What was the first job that you ever had?
Oh my gosh, I've had some interesting jobs. My first professional job with a real paycheck was I was 16 and I moved to England and I was living with my sister and I worked in a factory making underwear. I would sew the underwear together and I left just before I was almost getting promoted to silk underwear. So I missed out on that calling.
Oh, that's silk underwear calling. Okay, what's the one app that you cannot live without?
Instagram.
I know it's kind of like I'm wondering
I use it a lot for work and sending memes to my friends.
I know it's the popular one. What's the one word that you would use to describe your business journey?
Ever evolving.
Okay, I love that. If you could have any entrepreneur as a mentor for a day, who would it be?
Oh, that is an interesting one. I feel like who would I want to spend a day with? I really like Barbara Corcoran from the Shark Tank she's like the mama bear on there. I want to talk to her about business.
I like that. Okay, great. See, you did it. Okay.
What's
a book? No, that's great. What's a book that has significantly influenced your mindset, business or otherwise?
That's significantly. I just finished reading the book Clean, which goes into the whole history of how we started the whole marketing of beauty and, back from when it was just the soap, and cleanliness. So that was a really interesting read.
Okay. I'm like, add it to the list. Okay.
Yeah.
Besides your own business, what is another favorite small business?
Oh, I mean, all my favorite holistic estheticians out there. I will have to give a shout out for my Esty bestie, Samantha, for any Canadian listeners. She's in Calgary and she's just she's been working, but she's just kind of grown and reopened her new studio. So go see her. She gives the best facials.
Okay, if you could instantly acquire one new skill, what would it be?
One new skill. Being better at tech, obviously, because the trouble I had even opening to come here today, Alison, I'm really wanting to get better at, my online presence and working and not being so, afraid to be, more present with it.
I feel you. I get it. Okay, if you could time travel to any period in history, which era would you visit?
Goodness, which era would I visit? There's so many times and places I'd want to go to. I mean, I would want to go back to Egypt when, they were just adorning themselves with, I think there's so much, like when I work with Chi, I always feel like I'm working with some Egyptian modalities. So probably back in the Cleopatra days.
I love that.
Be part
Yes.
of all that luxurious fun and parties and makeup.
Okay.
And it just seems like such a decadent time.
I agree. Okay, if you weren't doing this, what else would you be doing?
Well, probably making silk underwear, apparently, if it's that career.
That's awesome. If not
Oh my
facials.
goodness. What would I be doing? I've always worked in some form of taking care and nurturing people in most of my jobs. Like I've worked on a yacht as a stewardess, and I've worked as a nanny for the Hollywood, life. So many, many hats and interesting jobs. So I'm sure it would be something in some way taking care of people. And I love to travel. So something that would have me out in the world.
A traveling nanny. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. Fantastic. Okay. So to punctuate this conversation, I'd love for you to share a piece of wisdom, perhaps for someone that may be an aspiring entrepreneur.
Mm.
Perhaps they could be in the holistic health space, but not necessarily. But yes, what piece of wisdom do you have to pass on to our listeners?
Yeah, I think it's really good to have a mentor of some kind
Mhm.
starting out in anything. And, for me, I've definitely had some wonderful mentors that have helped me and long lasting advice that have stuck with me. So find a good mentor.
Find a good
Yeah.
mentor. I like that. Find
Yep.
find someone that can offer
Yeah,
you other wisdom. Is there
exactly.
is there a piece of wisdom that one of them offered you that like still resonates for you today?
Starting out in the spa industry, my lovely friend Marion, who was one of our, the manager of where I worked, she really taught me just about about just the luxury and how to take care of people in such a luxurious way where they just feel so well taken care of and in the moment and in the experience. And that's really, I think, so important. Like, if someone walks in my room, I want them to not, they're not just coming to get their face taken care of. I want them to have a full experience and to feel their surroundings are really, yeah, comforting.
I think I mean, I can certainly say that I can speak for myself. I can speak for all the people that I know that have come to see you, and
Hmm.
everyone would all align to the fact that yes, you do not leave your room feeling anything but I don't know, rested, recharged, and fabulous. Yes, totally.
Yay.
Um, is there anything I didn't ask you that I should have, or that you were hoping I would?
Hmm. I don't know.
Hmm.
I feel like it's been lovely.
Oh,
And
good.
thank
Okay,
you
no,
for
that's
my
fine.
mermaid cup. I still enjoy drinking tea out of it.
I mean, naturally, the mermaid needed a mermaid cup for sure.
Yes.
Okay, so please, Jenny, share all of your socials. How can people find you?
Yeah. Well, I'm in Los Angeles, Woodland
Mhm.
Hills. If you ever want to come visit me for a facial, anyone that comes from the Dean's List gets 20% off their first facial. My website is You Are Beautiful Skin Therapy, and you can also find me on Instagram at You Are Beautiful Skin Therapy.
Love that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
major. Thank you so much, Jenny. This is like a great offer for anybody that needs ultimate fantastic skin ritual treatment. I would say yeah, thank you, Jenny. That's a very lovely thing. They should mention the Dean's List to you.
Yes.
So make sure, drop the Dean's List so Jenny at least knows that this is how you found her. Jenny, thank you so much. I hope you had
Thank you.
fun. I hope all of you listening out there had fun. Um, and, stick with us for more fabulous people on the Dean's List.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for tuning into this episode of The Dean's List. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite platform to stay updated and follow us on Instagram at official_Dean's List. and YouTube at It's Official Dean's List. I'm your host, Alison Dean. Until next time.